What up, ladies and gents? Man, San Diego local here on the show today with the Business Bros. Can't wait to find out more. Here we go.
Shut up and sit down.
The Business Bros podcast was created for you. Learn from the business professionals who come to share their stories. Find out what's working in business and social media, what's hot and what's not, straight from the mouths of successful entrepreneurs out there doing the real work. And now, welcome to another episode of
Business Bros. Yeah. All right, man. I got on the show today, Rich Rudzinsky. How do I say your last name? I don't want to butcher it. Rudzinsky?
Rudzinsky.
Rudzinsky. See, I was going to go with the other. I was going to go a little bit different, but Rudzinsky. So, hey, Rich is here from us with Tragic Media here locally in San Diego. It's really cool that I get to have somebody on the show who's here in town. I could literally probably meet you at a bar that's not open, but we can meet at a bar, right, and hang out. That's pretty cool. Rich,
yeah, totally.
Welcome to the program, my friend.
Awesome. I'm so excited to be here. I mean, San Diego show, all about business. This is totally my jam. I'm stoked here.
All right, dude. I want to know a little bit about your business. What business are you in? What is Tragic Media?
Yeah, so I'm the founder and owner of Tragic Media. We're a technology and software consulting firm. We're based here in San Diego, but we service clients all across the United States. We really focus on helping businesses with their most technical challenges, everything from websites, e-commerce, intranets, mobile applications, cloud hosting, IoT, the whole gamut. If anything technical that any business needs to solve, we're there. We have a great team of experts to help out.
It's a whole lot of stuff, dude.
Yeah,
so,
man.
I mean, I saw on your website you guys have kick-ass software, dude. Like, so how did you get into this whole software space? Like, I'll be honest, 100%. You don't look like the software type, right?
Yeah,
but
right. Us geeks come in all shapes and sizes, So I've just been into computers my whole life. I went to UCSD down here in San Diego. Went and got a cool kind of new arts media degree from them, learning all about web and the latest technologies from that school. After getting out into the world, I was at one of the local agencies down here, really cutting my teeth and learning all about the latest web design technology. And while I was there, I kind of saw this need for really focused, cutting edge technology professionals to help, really execute these high end projects for these agencies. So that's how we originally started. Was we were a white label service. We only worked through other agencies, so we didn't really work with end businesses so much, and really help them to execute their top projects for like Pixar, GM, Lego, all these really great national brands. But after a few years of doing that, it just kind of wasn't really we weren't really bringing our biggest value to the table. We saw a lot of businesses kind of getting kind of screwed over by, other agencies and stuff that kind of, sold them, an easy package that maybe wasn't what they needed for their business. So we really focus on custom consulting, helping to understand businesses, what they do, and, what they need in terms of their technology, whether that's just, help with their WordPress site, or whether we're building a really custom, piece of software for them, and help them to, get to their goals and achieve those. So a couple of years ago, we really transitioned from that white label service and brought all of our expertise directly to, small businesses, growing businesses, startups, entrepreneurs, anybody that really wants to achieve something really great with technology, whether it's online, in-home, IoT, whatever their goal is. We have the team members to be able to back that up.
Skills I have acquired over a very long career.
So you got all kinds of mad technical skills. When you sit down with a company, right? When you sit down with somebody, do they always know like exactly what it is they're gonna do with you? Like, I mean, there's so many things you do. Like, I wouldn't even know where to start. Why would I, as a consumer, as a business, call you? What am I looking for in your business? Like, who am I to be looking for you?
Totally. So I think there's kind of two pieces that we really differentiate and kind of separate from other agencies. One is in that kind of long-term technical support. A lot of other agencies really focus on building a project, getting it out the door, and moving on to the next project. A lot of our clients have worked with us for 5, 6, 7 years, and just we've continuously. We're like their tech team for them. So anytime they have an issue with their website, or they want to make a change, or they want to make some new advancement, they call us. We get in a meeting and really understand what their goals are and what they're trying to achieve, and then we put together a plan to help them get there within whatever their budget range might be. And that's one of the other big differentiators is we also help businesses and startups create new software from the ground up. Like I said, whether that's a custom e-commerce site, just a little Shopify site, whether we're building mobile applications for them. Most of our clients are trying to solve something that they can't get out of the box. So either they're trying to achieve a better user experience that, the default theme for WordPress or Shopify really just isn't doing it for them. Or those systems just don't work. They're trying to achieve something way more advanced where, the little, the SaaS softwares and stuff that are out there just don't really serve their needs. And so they need something really custom. Most of the people that come to us, they have a general idea of like what they want to create, but they have no idea how to create that. So then we get in there, we understand what they are, we understand their brand, bring our design team in to really understand, what the visuals are and what they're trying to achieve, aesthetically. And then also on the technology, and we make sure that they're set up with the right infrastructure to be able to scale and take care of that long term, and really making sure that that infrastructure is built for their needs and not really, and we don't just do blanket services or blanket solutions. So everything is really built around what your budget is, what your needs are, and where you're trying to go, and we help you just get there every step of the way.
I'm your huckleberry.
All right, dude. So I want to know, I want to dig into some personal stuff here. So you have a specific look about you.
I do.
What has that been like going into your own entrepreneurial space? Has it helped you? Has it hindered you? Like what, when people see you, they have a certain image, and then when you speak, it's completely different. How's that been for you?
I think it's definitely interesting. I think in some ways it helps me, where I'm, I've built this brand very true to myself and my aesthetics and, the visuals that I like to create and stuff. And I think in doing that, it shows how authentic we are to ourselves, and also our ability to really, understand and bring a brand to life. So we can do that with our brand. We can do that with your brand. Your brand is going to be way different looking than our brand. It's really understanding, what the brand is and what their communication is, what their tone is, and, what they're trying, who their customers are, all kind of brings that all together. So on one hand, I'm very memorable. So, you meet me once and you're probably going to remember me. So that has definitely come to my advantage. I definitely think in some of the more corporate, situations, it is probably a little bit of a hindrance. And sometimes people can't get over it. I even have, been part of different try to be part of different entrepreneurial groups and stuff like that, and sometimes in those meetings you can kind of see that people are kind of just judging on that face value and not really getting to know my business or myself, or the great experience and expertise that we have.
Dude, it's that image, that first time impression, people tend to have a quick snap judgment. And I'll tell you a quick story. I went to this presentation once, and I took a camera team with me, right? And I was just doing some video vlogging stuff, and it was on retirement planning, right? And I walk in and camera in hand or whatever, and I meet somebody there, and this older guy, and I shake his hand, and he didn't really want to have a conversation with me at all, right? We sit down for the whole scenario, and we start talking stuff, and then I start talking about tax implications and how Social Security comes into play, and all this different stuff, and all of a sudden what I'm saying has a different point of view. And at the end of the presentation, same guy comes up to me. He's like, "Hey, really nice to meet you. I really like what you had to say." Like, it's totally different. Like when I don't know about you, but I personally love it when you come down and you make me the underdog, and then I show you the capability that I have. Like, all of a sudden it's a whole different ball game. And I'm sure you've experienced something similar.
Yeah, absolutely. I do, speaking engagements and other things like that, talking about technology, down here in San Diego a lot, really part of the, startup scene and stuff down here. And I think, you get that initial judgment and stuff, but when you're able to change somebody's mind and their viewpoint about, their kind of preconceived judgments, I think that's just so powerful. And also, builds more into your brand of just that, like, you're able to do this, you're able to, really push to the forefront of your industry, while maybe you don't have the look and feel that, people are going to expect from, from insurance or from, technology. But the minute that you get in front of them and you start speaking, clearly they can understand that you have a wealth of information. You've been doing this. You understand what you're doing. You're a thought leader in this space. And I think that's really just great and powerful, because then ideally that helps to change their notions from their next time that they're going to go judge somebody. They see somebody else like me out doing something, great and professional, and maybe they're going to take a second to kind of get to know that person before they, start coming up with ideas of what they think that person, what box they kind of fit into.
Don't ever let somebody tell you you can't do something.
Damn right. Don't ever let anybody tell you.
No
All right.
way.
You've been in business for how long? And up until this point, what's been your biggest obstacle?
We've been in business for 11 years now. I think like the biggest obstacle is just like the space that we're in is a very difficult space. Agency, design and development services, it's super competitive. It's super cutthroat. And, a lot of the customers don't necessarily know what differentiates, like my brand from a different brand or our services from another agency's services. So being able to like get that message across, really hone that down from like a marketing perspective has really been one of our bigger challenges, because we're technologists, we're design technology experts. The marketing stuff, not so much. That's not really our cup of tea. We have other, partners and other people that we bring into our projects when our clients need those types of services. But that's definitely been one that, I've personally had to, overcome some challenges and do a lot of learning in terms of like how to best sell and market my company.
So Adrian says you got a David Navarro vibe going on, but he loves that you have your own authenticity and you're straight up about your impression. I'm the same way, man. The fact that you are who you are, and like, we hear a lot of things about, creating and drawing that line in the sand and being, 100% who you are. And some people are going to like it and some people are not going to like it. Yeah. And when you meet somebody like yourself, who's drawn that line in the sand, you're literally, this is who I am, but this is what I do also. And people are going to like it. People are not going to like it. They're going to be their own, judge, jury, and executioner. But right. What you're talking about when you're talking about the establishing a brand for yourself in that space, I think that is definitely, if I heard you correctly, I mean, from what it sounds like, is the consumer has no idea what any of the services really are. They kind of, and from a broad point of view, because I know me personally, I group all the technology in the same space. If my internet dies, I'm calling you, right? If my keyboard is not working, I'm calling you. If I can't plug something into my computer, if my website is down, like I group all those things in the same space. Right. And I think the consumer doesn't quite understand what it is they need or where certain IT areas kind of separate. 100%. Right.
100%. And so, it's one thing if you know exactly what you want and you're like, okay, I need an e-commerce site. I absolutely want it on Shopify. And, these are the, features and bells and whistles I need. Then I think that's a little bit easier, because then you can kind of search for Shopify agencies and really find people that have, done projects that really align with, what you're trying to achieve. I think what's really challenging about what we do is so much of our stuff is just open-ended and unclear, because it really depends on what challenge our client is bringing to us, and that's going to dictate what solution we bring to them. So yeah, we can build you a great Shopify site, but that might not be the right solution for you. And I really need to understand what you're trying to achieve, both right now and in the long term, so that I can get you in that right solution. Because that's the worst thing about technology, is that getting a business into something that they're going to outgrow in a couple of years, like that's the opposite of what we're trying to do. We want to get you into something that's going to scale and grow and be adaptable and pivot as your business does. Because so much, as we've learned this year, nothing is really for sure. You really got to always be on your toes, ready to pivot and move, depending on what changes in your industry, what changes in society. And we've all experienced that firsthand. So
totally.
The price is wrong, bitch.
So we got different pricing. Ooh, I got an echo there. We got different pricing that happens in this whole in the space that you're talking about. Like, there's so many people who go on they write up, your own what do they call it? I want to say prospectus, but it's not a scope. So you write a scope of work, and this is what you decide that this was what the client needs, and here's what you're going to charge. There's other people who are like, you know what, I'm on a retainer. This is how many hours of work I'm going to go through. And it's very difficult from the consumer point of view to say how to compare the two.
Totally.
What's your what's your pricing like, and how do you explain it to a client so they kind of understand, this is what you're getting from us and this is what our package is?
Totally. So that is definitely one of the most difficult pieces of it, and also one of the difficult pieces of like how we approach our projects. because so many of the projects that we work on, the founder has like this great idea of what they want. And then once we get into those initial meetings, we realize that they need something totally different. And so that we have to then, adjust, what our initial deliverables and thoughts are to work within this new thing. And one of the big things that I'm really big on with my company is minimizing the amount of like administrative paperwork. Like I don't want to deal with a bunch of change orders and nitpicking scope. Like ultimately what we're about is providing the best value for the businesses and clients that we work with. And so we're always about making sure that you're covered and that your best interests are being brought, are prioritized, within the project. So what we do with our projects, let's say you came to us, you have a new business idea and you're like, hey, I have this really cool idea. Here's like a general, information about it, features, whatever else it might be. One of the first things we're going to talk to you about is what your budget is, because budget definitely dictates the solution. I mean, with software, you can spend $100,000 just going down one feature requirement, but a lot of times that's, most startups that come to us don't have that kind of money, and definitely not that kind of money to put into one single feature. Like we need to build something really great and get it launched so that business can start to succeed. So really, it's about, for us, we understand the budget and then we put together a scope, and the scope is really around that like high level, like what are we going to deliver for you? What are like the main functional pieces of this that are really going to help your business be successful? And then we give you a low high estimate for that. Because so much of design and development is fluid, and a lot of it is going to depend on the client themselves and their ideas. And like if we're in the design, some people see that design, great, they approve it and we're ready to go. And some people, they spend a bunch of revisions on that design, making sure that everything's perfect. And we want to make sure that our approach can cater to the client, so not putting people in little boxes again. So we have low, high range, and then we really work with the client throughout the entire process to just, talk through, track their budget, understand, where they're going. So if they want to go down certain avenues that maybe we didn't originally plan for, we can do that. We just need the client to understand how that might impact the rest of their scope or impact their budget in that long term. So it's a very, fluid, collaborative project that we work on. And ultimately we make sure that we're coming in under budget and we're delivering the core values that are going to help the business be successful.
It's funny when you talk about the different methods or the different scopes or the different changes, like, what if this happens? What if this happens? What if this happens? Always comes up. And I'll be 100% honest with you. I am terrified to get into the software space as far as a business is concerned, because I've tried it before. I've done like, I go to build an app or I go to build an idea and it becomes a money pit. Like, my ideas are much greater than my pocketbook. You know what I mean? And
right. Always, yeah. That's the startup problem, right? Like you have this great vision and you have no budget. And how do you navigate that? How do we get there? And that's a lot about the approach of like, like what's called an MVP is like the minimum viable product. And what that whole idea is about getting out that core concept that lets you start to move that business forward. What we want to do is just get out, I think a lot has changed in terms of technology and software. Before it was all about really big launch and you have that perfect launch and everything's perfect and you put it out there and then it sits there for 10 years and it doesn't move or change. Now technology moves so fast, software moves so fast. You really need to just get something out there as quick as you can, get feedback from your customers, and then iterate and change. And that's one of, I think, the key pieces of like software for startups and for new businesses that we really help them understand is that this is an iterative, ongoing process. We're not just going to deliver you something and it's going to be done. We're going to, help you get there in slow, iterative steps based on what your goals are and based on what your budget is. So, if you have really strict budgets, we need to figure out how we can get you to move that marker forward fastest. And that's going to depend on exactly what your business and what your budget is. So, again, that goes back to our whole, approach and philosophy about like understanding that core business value and what that really, those core features are that can help you move forward, because everything else is bells and whistles. And that's great. If we have budget for it, let's put on all the bells and whistles. But if you don't, you really need to get that bottom line moving forward.
Today, Junior.
Exactly. We want to get moving. Get it out there. But here's one of my fears when it comes to getting it out there, right? And you kind of hinted on it. I feel like with technology, especially today, the moment I get it out there, it's obsolete, and then I have to go and make another change, and then that's obsolete, and I have to go and make another change. And so having that ongoing support and having those people that I can come back to is super important. Now you guys have been around for 11 years, so it's not like you're gonna disappear tomorrow and be gone. How helpful is it for your clients to know that you're there to support them going forward, so that you laid a foundation at their startup budget, and as you implement this software or whatever it is that they've built, it allows more revenue to come in and then modify and adapt? How do they feel about having that support?
Yeah, that also speaks to how we do support. Like you had kind of mentioned before, some companies have they set you into these retainer buckets and everything like that. We have a very flexible support system that really, again, goes back to bringing the most value to our clients. We don't want to just get you with a big ongoing fee that you have to pay to us. That's not what we're about. We're about making sure that we're there and we can scale up when you need us. And when you don't need us, we're not billing you a bunch of extra time that you don't need. So a lot of our clients are on kind of this, hills and valleys type approach, where we kind of have a very, low basis of hours that we're generally doing for month to month. And that's just kind of being able to be there, have some strategic meetings with them, keep their software up to date so they don't get hacked, answer any questions or issues they might have and stuff. And then a couple times a year, depending on what their business initiatives are, maybe right before, all the holiday seasons come up, maybe they're going to have a bunch of changes to get them ready for that. We'll ramp up for a month or two, get a bunch of new changes and features done, and then we'll ramp back down. So, really the benefit is that you have this whole team of experts that can be there and scale up for you to just build something really great, really fast, but then we're not constantly billing you for that. You don't need to have that team every single month or, at the same, level every single month. And then, speaking to what you said, I think that a lot of our clients really appreciate the long-term strategic approach that we have to them, because, again, we understand their business, we understand where they're going, and we help them get there slowly, whether it be, framework updates, whether it be really big strategic changes. One of my favorite client stories is a client that we worked with, My Italian Family, and they help with Italian genealogy research and dual citizenship process management. And we've worked with them for 7 years now. And over the last 7 years, they have changed and shifted, based on, Ancestry came up and created a lot of competition for them. So they kind of shifted their business goals to promote some of their other services that are now growing. We helped them to get mobile friendly, ahead of the curve. They really didn't have a lot of mobile traffic. Because they're more of a desktop driven site. We got them to, invest in that early, so that now, over the last 2 years, they've seen a huge rise in tablet and mobile, and they were ready for that. So, again, it's about understanding the business, understanding where their long-term goals are, and just helping them get there, every step of the way. And by doing so, we really help to drive success and growth of that business. So that, particular business, we've helped grow, I think over 4 times their size, since they've, started working with us. And, recently over this last pandemic, they've seen exponential growth because of all the moves to try to get dual citizenship, outside of the United States and stuff. So we had really positioned them for success to be able to scale up their services and be able to let people purchase these without a lot of customer service handholding, which was a little bit before. Before, everything kind of required a phone call, everything kind of required some, hand-holding throughout that process, and we really helped make that automated so that when they got this big influx in traffic, they were ready for it, and they've just been scaling with it. So it's been great.
What's it like? Well, do you have conversations around driving traffic? So it's one thing to create software and to create a platform that is doing well for a company, that's easing a process or a system, right? But it's another thing to get people to go and use it, right? It's another thing to have traffic driven to it. Is that a conversation that you have with clients as well?
Yeah, totally. I mean, the whole, a lot of founders and startups come with this whole idea of if you build it, they will come. And that's just not a reality, that just doesn't happen. There are, I forgot what the last count was, but there are, thousands and thousands and thousands of apps in the App Store. The internet is so vast. If you start a new business, nobody knows about you. You're not in there. And that goes back to what I was saying before, where we have other great partners that help to fulfill the rest of our services. So we can be very specialized in what we do. And then we're able to bring on other partners that can specialize in other areas. So if you need SEO marketing help to help get your new software found, we'll bring in a partner that we've worked with for a number of years that we've seen great results with. and we'll give you a nice little referral over to them. You have your own engagement with them, but you know that they're a great person because a great company because we've worked with them. They've had other success with our clients, so it kind of helps take down that risk for our clients so that they know, they're getting a really great, marketing SEO resource from that.
Dude, all right. If you build it, they will not come, says Logan. Right.
Yes.
I mean, and that's true. I mean, you explained it. I mean, when you said the internet is vast, I don't think we quite understand how vast it actually is. I mean, it's not getting it's not getting smaller, right? The amount of data that we're placing in there exponentially growing every single day. I mean,
every day.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
And here's the thing about the internet is all that already exists, right? So everything that's already there, we're talking about just stuff that's getting added on a regular basis. Everything from a picture I just took on my phone to an article you've written to everything. How is it that things like SEO or how is it that softwares like yours how do they poke through and make it out of the swarm of so many things that are out there? Like, how do we, if you can give me like a strategy, a tip or something to help people say like, look, this is something that you should do to help draw attention or to help, get started. What are a couple tips that we could do there?
So, for newer businesses or businesses that are starting to, build a, search traffic and build their kind of like, position in there. You really need to focus on finding your niche. And so for SEO, it's really going to go into like, more like your long tail keywords. So, let's say insurance bros, right? Like you're going to try to rank for insurance, San Diego brokers, whatever these types of things. Insurance San Diego, that's going to be super competitive. They're never going to find your website on there unless you've really spent a lot of time in your marketing, in your content creation, in your backlinks and everything else to build up that brand. But small business insurance solutions San Diego, that's a lot more specialized and focused of a key term, and there's going to be a lot less traffic for that key term. There's going to be a lot less competition. So by really understanding what are these longer search phrases that are really in line with your business offerings and really focusing your content and your marketing around those, that's going to help you to drive that needle faster and get some movement, while you then are also working towards those bigger, shorter key terms, like just insurance San Diego, and starting to build up so that you're getting, higher rank on that. But, as we all know, nobody goes to the second page of Google. So you really need to understand how can you get on that first page of Google. And so, the main, initial approach to that is like figuring out what those longer, more specific key terms are for you.
All right, Rich, I got your stuff scrolling on the screen. Can you tell the audience what they're going to find at tragic.media?
Tragic.media is our, website. It shows all about us, our team, the different projects that we've worked on. On our blog that links off to there, we have a great amount of wealth of knowledge around technology, around, things that are happening, in the space, everything from, design best practices to updates for, new frameworks and everything like that. And so, just a great amount of information for anybody, wanting to learn more about technology and design. And then obviously, they can, contacts form there, so anybody can contact us that needs help. We offer free consultation. So if you have a business idea or you have a business problem, you want to talk to somebody about how you could potentially solve that, what something like that might cost, definitely just send us a message, and we will happy to get on a call and learn more about it and give you some insights and some thoughts.
Dude, and in San Diego, if anybody's local, can they come visit you? Is the office open, or are you guys closed quarantine, or how does that work?
We are actually shutting down our office because of the pandemic. We've been in Gaslamp for the past 7 years. And, during all of this, we've been a remote team. We have team members here in San Diego and all throughout the United States, really focused on getting, the best talent that we can possibly get. And really sad. We were actually in the old mayor's office in the old city hall building right in downtown. Really great space. But, I think with this pandemic, it's all, businesses, it's all about how you pivot.
Dude.
You gotta roll with the punches, and you got to figure out what's going to be the best for you. So for us, we're going to cut that cost because nobody's been in the office for the past 7 months. And, after this, I don't feel like having that in-person meeting is going to be as essential to new businesses like it was before. So, definitely open to meeting up in a coffee shop. Happy to, sync up, video call, obviously. Just for the business bros in our San Diego, family, anybody in San Diego that, is looking to get some support, looking to get some help, we're going to offer a special 15% discount for anybody that comes from Business Bros. So just let us know that you saw us on this podcast, and, we're going to cut you guys a discount and help out our San Diego family here.
I surrender to your will.
Nice. All right, dude, man, honestly, that's it. This year, same thing. So our insurance office was in Coronado, and our lease came up for renewal in June. And by that time, we had already situated our entire staff remotely, and we're in the same situation. We just decided, you know what, we're not going to renew for what? And I wonder, man, I went to Crack Shack the other day in Little Italy. And the menu has been really reduced. You're only allowed to get certain things. I went to the fish market not too long ago for sushi. They don't even have a sushi department anymore. Like 60% of the staff is gone.
Crazy.
Dude, it's been some nutty stuff. But at the same time, I've talked to entrepreneurs like yourself who have pivoted and then turned around and have adjusted, and they're thriving. It's just a different kind of thriving. And the cool thing is, the public is adjusting. So, I mean, you're a tech-based person, but in the last 6 months, the entire world has made a huge technological shift. I mean, the fact that we're communicating like this, I've been doing podcasts now, for 2 years now. All of a sudden, March comes up, and now everybody's a podcaster, and they're all doing video, right? And they're all comfortable with it. Where before I was like, you're going to be on video. They're like, no. I can't be on video.
Isn't it crazy, like how fast that has changed that mentality of society? I mean, everything from like, wearing masks to, how we're communicating with each other, how we're meeting socially, all these things have changed. And two things. One is, I don't think that these things are going to change back. I think we're going to progress and move forward. And yes, some things will go back to the way they were, but nothing will be forever the way that it was. Things are going to completely shift because of this. Two, with all this turmoil and all this change, there's great opportunity for new businesses. There's great opportunity for entrepreneurs and founders to figure out, what are new services, new products that help to fill this need and help to fill this new reality that we're all going to be living in, So, you definitely, if you're an established business and you're not pivoting and adjusting your workforce, your services, how you're engaging with your customers, like that's, you need to start moving now, because we're getting, all the way to the end of the year now. And, there's no end in sight, really. Things are starting to get a little bit better, with some of these advances and stuff within the science community, but nothing is saying like, oh, this is going to get over now. So like, it's time to stop sitting and waiting, and it's time to start, driving forward.
Oh, dude, it's bizarre how I think. Okay, here's something that's trippy, and I'll learn something from you here in a bit with your circle of friends. I hear a lot on TV or on Facebook. We have so many unemployed. We have so many people have lost their jobs and they have reduced staff, and I hear a lot of that. But everyone I talk to, and maybe it's just because of the circle I talk to, but everyone I've talked to has been doing way better with this COVID situation than they were in the past. Like even people that are some of my friends and family that have lost jobs have gotten new jobs that allow them the flexibility to be at home, that have, and some of them make a little bit less, but you know what? They're also not going out and spending all this kind of extra money. Like, I aside from the loss of life, which you can't make up at any point, the thriving part in their personal finance for a lot of people has been really good. Like what have you heard? Yeah.
Balance. I think I've seen it on both ends. I think that, some people are definitely struggling, trying to stay true to their career, and, whether it's restaurants or, art or, museums or whatever else it might be, like, a lot of industries have been very severely impacted, travel. I think a lot of people are just, either so far advanced in that career or really, committed to it that they're in just a really tough spot right now. But I definitely agree with what you said. I think there's a lot of people that have taken this opportunity to adjust and pivot, just like businesses, and figure out, this is a life-changing moment. How do I make this change for the better. How do I take this really bad circumstance and find a positive angle to it to, push myself and propel myself forward. So I definitely think there's a lot of people taking advantage of it, whether it's, new businesses, starting up, whether it's people doing career changes. And then also just a lot of businesses, because of the pivots that businesses are making. I think it's also, not all positive, but a lot of that is starting to positively impact people. Like you said, having more remote work. A lot of people, used to have really long commutes that have been cut away, have been really pushing for that remote work for a long time, and their companies were just not about it. And all of a sudden, like now it has to happen. So now, they've gotten that benefit from it. But I think, the overarching, message here is like, this reality is only going to continue to evolve and change, and you really need to be ready to pivot and change along with that if you want to be successful.
Dude, it's some crazy stuff. It's some crazy stuff that this world has come to. But me personally, on my personal life, it's been a really good last 6 months. I've spent more time with my kids. I spend more time with my wife. I've spent more time, meeting more people. I've met more people since COVID happened, I think, than before. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's virtual. Like there's no hand. I think one of the
totally different, right? It's a different way of living now. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about you. Like I personally, one of the things I really, really do miss is a handshake. Yeah. Like there's something to be said about when you meet somebody, even something like, what's up, bro? Like a little fist pump or whatever, or a hug, you know what I mean? Like that human connection, I think, is something we're missing. But as far as, business and making pivots, I think most of us as human beings, as professionals, most are making some major pivots. And you're right. Even though there are problems that are going on, every problem is an opportunity depending on the perspective that you look at it. Right. Yeah. So it's going to be a heck of a time. Hey, man, dude, I know I went over our time, but so what? It don't matter. It's my show. I can do what I want. Rich, man, thank you very much, ladies and gents.
This was great.
I'm glad you had fun. Hey, you big on podcasts at all?
Yeah, I've done a couple here and there. Definitely.
Yeah. What'd you think of the Business Bros show? So what do you think of the?
I mean, this is one of my favorites. Are you kidding me? Like San Diego, it's all about business. I mean, you guys are just so energetic and exciting to listen to, and then you always have really great guests and stuff. And then obviously being able to be a part of it. This was just such a great natural conversation with you, and I really appreciate you guys making time for me here.
Dude, thank you very much. Whoops, I always got to let it catch up there. So ladies and gents, make sure you follow Rich here at Tragic Rich. Check out his website. If you guys need anything when it comes to your softwares, apps, anything you need on the technology space, start off with that conversation. Richard even said literally on the show, if it's not something he does and it's technologically based, he can refer you to somebody. So might as well talk to a professional who's in the space. And if they can help you, great. If they can't, they're going to refer you out to somebody they've done business with in the past. 100%. Rich, man, thanks a lot for coming on the show. Really appreciate it, brother.
Super awesome. I appreciate the time, and can't wait to see your next episode.
4:00 today, ladies and gents. We got another episode at 4:00. So we'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.
Thank you for listening to the Business Bros Podcast. Are you looking to get more clients or to increase your income? Hernan, the business bro, can help you generate referrals through the power of podcasting. And James, the insurance bro with Pipeline Insurance, can help you effectively add insurance to your existing business. If you are ready to create wealth today and generational wealth for tomorrow, email businessbros@csfirst.com to schedule a free consultation or join the Business Bros Network, www.businessbros.biz.